Hello my dear viewers, welcome to today's tutorial. I'll take you through mathematics, Kcse paper 2, which was done in the year 2019. So you're much welcome, and let us begin with the first question. So in section 1, you're supposed to answer all the questions in this section in the spaces provided. So question 1, we simplify square root of 5 plus 3 all over square root of 5 minus 2, and give your answer in the form of a plus b square root of c, where a, b and c are integers. So we are going to rationalize the denominator. We make it a rational number, and therefore for us to rationalize it, we need to get the conjugate of square root of 5 minus 2, and the conjugate of this denominator is square root of 5 plus 2. So if we multiply the 2, we are going to get a rational number. Therefore, we are going to multiply the conjugate to both numerator and denominator, and therefore we shall get root 5 plus 3 all over root 5 minus 2. So the numerator multiplied by the conjugate root 5 plus 2. The same case we do with the denominator, we multiply by root 5 plus 2. And therefore, if we do so, here we multiply, so we get root 5 times root 5, we get square root of 25, then plus root 5 times 2, we get plus 2 root 5, then 3 times root 5, we get plus 3 root 5, then 3 times 2, we get plus 6, all over. Again here, if we multiply this difference between two square, so we have root 5, we square it, minus, then we have 2, we square. That is a difference between two squares, and therefore here square root of 25 is 5, then plus 2 root 5 plus 3 root 5, that is 5 root 5, then plus 6 all over. So root 5 squared we get 5, then minus 2 squared we get minus 4. So we simplify 5 plus 6, that is 11, plus 5 root 5 all over 1. And therefore now in the form of a plus b root c, we get 11 plus 5 root 5, whereby a is 11, b is 5, and c is 5. So we move on to the second question. Two types of flour, X and Y, cost 60 shillings and 72 shillings per kilogram respectively. The two types are mixed such that the cost of kilogram of the mixture is 70 shillings. Calculate the ratio XY of the mixture. So in this case, we are going to say let the ratio of the two mixture to be mixed, let the ratio be XY, let the ratio of the two types of flour be XY. And therefore, to get the total cost, we get the total cost of mixture divided by the mass of mixture, we shall get 70 shillings per kilogram. That's what we are going to get. and therefore the total cost of the mixture. So since we have said let the ratio in which they are mixed is xy, so the cost for x of type x will be 60x. The cost for type y will be 72 times y, so plus 72 times y. Then the total mass of the mixture, they have been mixed in the ratio of xy, it is x plus y, so will be equal to 70 shillings per kilogram. Multiply both sides by x plus y, so we shall get 60x plus 72y will be equal to 70x plus 70y. So we collect the like terms. So here we shall have 60x minus 70x will be equal to 70y minus 72y. So this will be minus 10x will be equal to minus 2y. So we are going to divide both sides by, first we shall have divide both sides by y, so we shall have xy with the ratio of minus 2 or minus 10. So we simplify this by minus 2, get 1, by minus 2 we get 5. And therefore the ratio in which x and y is mixed is 1:5. So there are different ways of doing this question. Can be done also in a different manner also. Otherwise, we are going to proceed to question 3. For question number 3, a quantity P varies inversely as the square of another quantity L when P is equal to 0.625, L is equal to 4. Determine P when L is equal to 0.2. Now, here P varies inversely. So P varies inversely as the square of another, so 1 over L squared. And therefore, we introduce a constant value. This will be P is equal to K over L squared, whereby K is a constant term. So when P is equal to 0. So substitute into this equation, general equation here, P is 0.625 will be equal to K all over L is 4, so 4 squared. Therefore K will be 0.625 times 4 squared is 16, and therefore K is 10. So the real equation connecting P and L is P is equal to K is 10, so 10 over L squared. So that is the general equation connecting the two. And therefore, we need to determine P when L is 0.2. And therefore, P will be equal to 10 divided by when L is 0.2. Substitute into this general equation. Right? So this will be 10 divided by 0.04, and therefore if you work it out, P will be 250. So we move on to the next question, number 4. For question number 4, an arc of a circle subtend an angle of 150 degrees at the circumference of the circle. Calculate the angle subtended by the same arc at the center of the circle. So for this, it's very important to note about the angle properties of a circle, and therefore allow me to make a sketch. So considering this is the circle, and then we have this arc subtending. So this angle here subtended at the circumference is 150 degrees at the circumference. So we calculate the angle subtended by the same arc at the center. So at the center of the circle, what angle does the arc subtend? This angle at the center. And we need to note that from the angle properties of a circle, that angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference. And therefore, the angle at the circumference subtended by the same arc, which is 150, it is twice the angle at it's twice. So the angle at the center is twice. So it's 150 times 2, and therefore we get 300 degrees. So this angle here will be 300 degrees. Next, question number 5. Solve the equation x plus 3y is equal to 13 and x squared plus 3y squared is equal to 43. So in this case we have a quadratic equation and also one linear. We are going to solve them analytically, and therefore I will substitute for the first equation and the second equation. I can make the first equation x to be the subject, the formula, and therefore this implies that x will be equal to 13 minus 3y. So I'm going to substitute for x is equal to 13 minus 3y into the second equation. So where I have x, I substitute with 13 minus 3y, and that will be x squared is 13 minus 3y. We square it, then we have plus 3y squared, then is equal to 43. So we are going to expand 13 minus 3y to bracket squared. I'll use the quadratic identity, therefore I'll have this will be 169, then minus 2ab, so this is 2 times 13 minus 3, so I get minus 78y, and then have minus 3y squared, that will be plus 9y squared. Then we have plus 3y squared is equal to 43. Collect the like terms together. So here I have 9y squared plus 3y squared, that is 12y squared. Then I have minus 78y, then plus 169. Take 43 to the left hand side, that will be minus 43, then will be equal to 0. So let me simplify it out. I have 12y squared minus 78y, then 169 minus 43, that is plus 126, will be equal to 0. So let me simplify this. I can divide through by 6. So 12y squared divided by 6, I get 2y squared. Then minus 78 divided by 6, I get my minus 13y. 126 divided by 6, I'll get plus 21 is equal to 0. And therefore now I can use it is easier to use factorization method. So get the product of AC, since it is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So a is 2, b is minus 13, c is 21. So product AC, that is 2 times 21, 42. Then I need to get the factors of 42 such that the sum will be minus 13, and therefore the factors of 42, I will have 6 and 7. But I need to note that if I add 6 and 7, it will give me positive 13 and not negative. So I need to make them negative. Negative times a negative is positive. So the factors is minus 6 and minus 7. Therefore, I write the middle part in the expanded form. That will be 2y squared minus 6y minus 7y plus 21 is equal to 0. Take into pairs and factor out what is common. So I'm going to take into pairs and factor out what is common. So this will be 2y is common, so factor out 2y. So 2y squared divided by 2y, we get y. Then minus 6y divided by 2y, I get minus 3. Then the other case, 7 is common. I have 7 here. 21, 7 is common. So minus 7 will be common. So minus 7y divided by minus 7, get positive y. Then 21 divided by minus 7, get minus 3. Close the bracket, everything is equals to 0. Then take 2y minus 7 to bracket. Then multiply by 1 of what is in bracket, y minus 3, then everything is equal to 0. So this simply means that either 2y minus 7 is equal to 0 or y minus 3 is equal to 0. And therefore, here y will be 3.5, or the other case is 3. So we need to get also the values of x since we are solving this simultaneous equation. So when y is equal to 3.5, what will be x? Substitute for y into this equation, 13 minus 3 times 3.5, and therefore we shall get x as 2.5. Then when y is 3, what is the value of x? Again, we substitute the value of x3, mean the value of y into this equation. So 13 minus 3 times 3, so 13 minus 9, so we are going to get 4. And therefore we have solved that simultaneous equation. So we are going to proceed to the next question. In probability, a bag contains 6 red counters and 4 blue counters. 2 counters are picked from the bag at random without replacement. Part A of the question represents the events using a tree diagram, and Part B find the probability that the 2 counters picked are of the same color. So we have a bag, 2 bags, one containing 6 red counters and the other one contains 4 blue counters. So in total we have the total of counters are 6 plus 4. So in total we have 10 counters, and each are picked at random. 2 counters are picked from the bag at random, so one at a time, and therefore for the first pick, so it is either a red counter or a blue counter. For the first pick, the probability of picking a red counter will be there are 6 red counters out of 10. The probability of picking a blue counter for the first pick, it is 4 out of 10. Then we have the second pick, since 2 counters are picked from the bag at random. So for the second pick, again we expect either there'll be a red being picked or a blue, a red or a blue. And therefore, once red was picked, 5 red counters are remaining. So in total, for the first pick, now we have 9 counters remaining. And therefore, the number of red which were picked in the first case, 1 was already picked, so there are remaining 5. So that will be 5 out of 9 for the second picking. Then for blue, in the first picking, no blue was picked in this case, and therefore still number of blue counters were 4 out of 9. Then the other case is that in the first pick, blue was picked. Now red was not picked. So in this case, there are 6 reds out of 9. Then for blue, in the second pick, in the first pick, a blue was picked, and there were 4, so there are remaining 3, so it will be 3 out of 9. And therefore, the probability space, in that case, red and a red was picked. In this case, a red and a blue was picked. In this case here, blue was picked, then red, and the other case is a blue was picked, then blue again. Now, that is the tree diagram for the probability space. Then find the probability that 2 counters picked are of the same color. So 2 counters picked are of the same color. We have this case a red and a red, and here we have a red and a blue and a blue. So those are the one we are going to look of the same color, and therefore that is probability of either a red and a red or blue and a blue, which will be the probability of picking a red plus probability of picking a blue and a blue. And therefore probability of picking red, that is 6 over 10 times 5 over 9. 6 over 10 times 5 over 9. Then plus probability of picking blue. In this branch, we take 4 over 10 times 3 over 9. 4 over 10 times 3 over 9. And therefore, we get this is 30 over 90 plus 12 over 90. We add the denominator are the same, we add the numerator, and we get 42 over 90. If we simplify it, we shall get by 6, 7, by 6, 15. So that is the probability of 2 counters picked are of the same color. So we are going to proceed on to the next question, question number 7. For question number 7,
so question number 7, we are going to find the coordinate of the turning point of the curve y is equal to x squared minus 14x plus 10. So at turning point, the gradient function of a curve is given by dy over dx is equal to 0. And therefore, for this curve, we need to get its gradient function. So the gradient function of the curve dy over dx will be given by, so differentiate y with respect to x. So x squared, we get 2x, then minus 14. So that is the gradient function of this curve. And this curve, gradient function 2x minus 14 is equal to 0. Therefore, we have 2x will be equal to 14, x will be 7. So we need to find the coordinate of y when x is 7. So when x is 7, so y will be, substitute the value of x into this equation. So we have 7 squared minus 14 times 7, then plus 10. If you work this out, you get negative 39. And therefore, the coordinates of the turning point xy is equal to, x is 7 and y is minus 39. So that is the coordinate of the turning point. So let us proceed to our next question.
OAB is a sector of a circle of radius r centimeter. Angle AOB is the angle. AOB is 60 degrees. Find in its simplest form an expression in terms of r and pi for the perimeter of the sector. So an expression in terms of r and pi. So we are not going to substitute for pi and r in our working. And therefore, to get the perimeter of this sector, so perimeter is given by the arc length AB, arc length AB, then plus the radius, the two radius, we have OA, and the other one is OB. So that will be the total perimeter. And therefore, arc length is given by theta over 360 times 2 pi r, then plus OA is r plus OB is r. And therefore, theta is 60. The angle subtended at the center, 60 over 360 times 2 pi r, then plus r is 2r. So from there, by 61 by 66 by 21 by 2 3, and therefore this will be a third pi r, then plus 2r. We can either leave it like that, or we can still simplify, or we can simplify. R is common here, so we can factor out r. So here, a third pi r divided by r, we get pi over 3. Then 2r divided by r, we get plus 2. So that is the perimeter of the sector. We move on to question number 9. Question number 9. In a mathematics test, the scores obtained by 30 students were recorded as shown in the table below. So those are the scores shown in the table. And then the score K, here is the score K, with a frequency of 6 is not given. That K is not given. So given that sigma fd over sigma f, or sum of fd over sum of f, is equal to minus 2, where d is equal to x minus 69, and using an assumed mean of 69, determine the score K. So you'll allow me to rewrite the shown in a vertical way. So we have x, the scores x, we have 59, 61, 65, we have k, 71, 72, 73, and then 75. And then we have the frequency f. We have 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, 1. And then where d is what? X minus 69. So d, deviation, so it's x minus the assumed mean 69. And therefore, so here we take x, we take this value 59 minus 69, that will be minus 10. 61 minus 69, that is minus 8. 65 minus 69, that is minus 4. Then k minus 69, that is k minus 69. Then 71 minus 69, we get 2. 72 minus 69, we get 3. 73 minus 69, we get 4. And lastly, 75 minus 69, we get 6. Now, we need to get FD. So since we have been given this equation, so we need to get sum of FD. And therefore, FD, we get F times column F times column D. So 2 times minus 10, that is minus 20. 3 times minus 8, that is minus 24. 5 times minus 4, that is minus 20. 6 times k minus 69, that is 6 times k, that is 6k minus 6 times 69, that is 14. Then 7 times 2, that is 14. 4 times 3, that is 12. Then 2 times 4, that is 8. Then 1 times 6, that is 6. And therefore, we need to add. We are going to add. We get sum of FD. So the sum, if we add all of them, minus 20 plus minus 24 minus 20 plus 14 plus 12 plus 8 plus 6, we end up getting in total 6k minus 4, 38. And here we have sum of f. They're actually 30 if you add all of them. And therefore now we can substitute into what we have been given. Sum of fd over sum of f is equal to minus 1.2. And therefore sum of fd is 6k minus 438. Sum of f is 30. Everything is equal to minus 1.2. Then multiply both sides by 30. So we shall have 6k minus 438 will be equal to minus 1.2 times 30. That will be minus 36. Therefore 6k is equal to minus 36 plus 438. We get 402. Then divide both sides by 6. K will be equal to 67. And therefore we have determined the score K. So that is it. And therefore we can proceed on to the next question. Question number 10. Determine the amplitude and the period of the function y is equal to 3 sine 2x plus 40. 2x plus 40. So this is 40. And therefore, since this function, trigonometric function, equation is of the form y is equal to a sine bx plus or minus theta, whereby a is the amplitude B. So A is the amplitude, and therefore we have this is y is equal to 3 sine 2x plus 40, where theta is the phase angle. And therefore we need to find the amplitude A. So in our case, amplitude A, here A corresponds to 3, so amplitude is 3 units. And then to get period of the function, so for period is given as 360 divided by B, and in our case B corresponds to 2, therefore the period of this curve is 360 divided by 2, and therefore the period of the curve is 180 degrees. We proceed on to the next question. Question 11. For question 11, the figure A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H represent a box. Here is that figure. And then we are required to, the top lid of the box is opened such that the top lid is open such that height OT from the bottom, from the base, is 35 centimeter. So we need to calculate the angle the top lid makes with the plane FGHE. So that's what we need to find out. Then part B of the question, we get the length BE correct to 2 decimal places. And therefore, let us begin working out. So we have, so the top lid is open such that OT is 35 centimeter, 35 centimeter. And therefore, if it is open, let me consider this point here. So we need to find this angle in which that plane FGHE makes with the top lid. So that is the angle that we need actually, and therefore I'm going to consider it. I draw it, this part there. So assuming that they are meeting at a point say X, and therefore if I just try to make that, it will be like that. So we have T, this is all the base, then I have XT. If we close this lid, it is equal, HG is equal to AB, so this is 50. And then we have also a half of this up to the center. It's actually the center. If you draw the diagonal, that is at the center, and therefore this distance up to here, it will be 25 degrees. We need to get this angle. Again, from C to F, so from O up to this point, that is 10, and then the other point from this point up to T, that will be that 5 minus 10, that is 25. So we can use a simple the trigonometric ratio and work it out. So let us use trigonometric ratio to get theta. So I can have this side, consider this side 25 and the hypotenuse 50, and therefore that will be sine. We can use opposite, this opposite and this hypotenuse. So sine theta is opposite, which is 25 over hypotenuse is 50. And therefore, if we work it out, theta will be sine inverse of, so 25 over 50, that is a half or 0.5. And therefore, theta will be 30 degrees. So the angle in which the top lead makes with that plane is 30 degrees. Therefore, we look at part B of the question. Length BE correct to 2 decimal place. So the length BE, so let us see the length BE. Length BE. So how are we going to get length BE? So since this is a 3D geometry, we need to look at both the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Therefore, the easiest route we can pass from B to E is from B to E. We can pass through BC, then CD, then DE. But since we are looking for the length, then the length will be the square root of BC squared plus CD squared plus DE squared. And therefore, BC is 90, CD is 50, and then DE is 10. So we have 90, then 50, then 10. And that will be now length BE, the square root of BC squared plus CD squared plus DE squared. So BC is 90, so 90 squared, plus CD is 50, so 50 squared, then plus DE is 10, so 10 squared. So we end up getting, this will be 8100 plus 2500 plus 100. We get square root of 10,700, and therefore if we work it out, BE, the square root of 10,700, at least to 2 decimal place will be 103.44 centimeter. So that's how we work out question number 11. Then next we proceed to question 12. Question 12. Question 12. The table below shows income tax rate in a certain year. So this column shows monthly income in Kenyan shillings and tax rate in each shillings in terms of percentage. So in that year, Mawira earned a salary of 41,000 Kenyan shillings per month. Calculate Mawira's income tax per month, given that a monthly tax relief of 1,162 was allowed. Therefore, in this case, we have been given the salary of Mawiras, and therefore we need to find the income tax. So the income tax, how are we going to get it? So we need to find tax before relief, for it seems also tax relief was given that month, and therefore we need to find tax before relief. So tax before relief, So in the first slab, we have the first slab, second, third, fourth, and the fifth. If you look keenly into the Mawira's salary, that means it falls up to the fifth band. And therefore, in the first band, or the first band, what was the tax due? So that is 10,164 times the rate times 10%. And therefore, if you work it out, the tax in the first band was 1016.40. Then in the second band, what was the tax due? We take 19,740 minus 10,164. What is the next? So we subtract, and if we subtract 19,740 minus 10,164, we are going to get 995.76, and therefore in the next band take 95.76 times the rate is 15%, and we get 1436.40. In the third band, the next will be 29,316 minus 19,740. Again we get 95.76. So in the next 95.76, the tax due, the rate is 20% for each shilling. So if you work it out, we get 1915.20. Then in the fourth band will be 38,892 minus 29,316. Again, you work it out to get 95.76. So for the fourth band, it's 95.76 times the rate is 25% for each shillings. Again, you work it out, we get 23.94. For the last band, since Mawira's salary is up to 41,000 shillings, so in the remaining part, that will be 41,000 shillings minus 38,890, and therefore we get 2108. So for the last band, which is the fifth band, the tax due will be 2108 times 30%, and therefore we get 632.40. So if we add all the tax due, the total tax due will be 7394.40. That is the total tax due. But there was given a tax relief, and therefore to get the net tax will be the tax due minus tax relief. So if you work it out to the tax due, which is 7394.40, we subtract the tax relief 1162, and therefore we shall end up getting, that is the net tax. 6,232.40. We proceed on to the next question. The position vectors of points A, B, and C are, or A is -3, 4, vector OB is 1, 2, vector OC is 7, -1. Show that A, B, and C are collinear. So for us to show that they are collinear, therefore we need to show that either AB is parallel to AC, or maybe AB is parallel to BC, and also you have to show that there is a common point. And therefore I'll just consider this one. You can try the other one later. And therefore you have also to show one is a scalar multiple of the other one. Therefore, let us consider AB. What is vector AB? To get vector AB, we take the position vector of B minus position vector of A. So this will be OB is 1, 2. Position vector of A is -3, 4. So let us subtract 1 minus, you subtract the corresponding element. 1 minus -3, we get 4. Then 2 minus 4, we get -2. Then consider the other one, AC. For AC, we take the position vector of C minus position vector of A, which will be OC is 7 -1, then minus OA is -3, 4. If we subtract again corresponding elements, 7 minus -3, we get 10. -1 minus 4, we get -5. And therefore, we have to say let AB be a scalar multiple of what? AC. So we need to find K. AB is 4 minus 2 is equals to K of 10 minus 5. So we are going to divide corresponding elements. Divide corresponding elements, or actually we can multiply. So this will be 4 minus 2 is equal to, multiply this, K times 10, we have 10K, then K minus times -5, we have -5K. So equate to the corresponding elements in either. So we are going to have 4 is equals to 10K, and this implies that K is what? 0.4, or that will be 2/5. We can do the same with the other one, but since now we have the value of K, then AB is actually 2/5 of AC. And here we can see that A is common. A is a common point. Therefore, we say that A, B, and C are collinear. They are collinear, hence AB is parallel to AC. That's how we show collinearity of points. We proceed on to question number 14. The vertices of a triangle PQR are P is minus 3, 2, Q is 0, minus 1, and R is 2, minus 1. A transformation matrix M maps triangle PQR onto triangle P prime Q prime R prime, whose vertices are P prime is minus 7, 2, Q prime is 2, minus 1, and R prime is 4, minus 1. Find the inverse of M. The transformation that maps P prime Q prime R prime onto PQR. So we don't know the transformation M, and therefore we can say let M equal to A, B, C, D, a transformation matrix of the order 2 by 2. And therefore, if we take the transformation matrix M, we multiply by the object matrix. So we are going to rewrite the object in terms of matrix so that we multiply them. We are going to get the image matrix. So we have considered the transformation matrix M is A, B, C, D. We need to find the values of A, B, C, and D. And then we have the triangle P, Q, R. Let us write them in matrix form such that we have minus 3. P is minus 3, 2. Q is 0, minus 1. And R is 2, minus 1. Will give us what? P prime, Q prime, R prime. Again, P prime is minus 7, 2. Q prime is 2, minus 1. R prime is 4, minus 1. So, here you need to have the knowledge of matrix multiplication. If you don't know how to multiply matrices, kindly revisit back to matrices Form 3 work. So, let us multiply. That means for us to get minus 7, we must have multiplied the first row and the first column. First row, first column. That is A times minus 3, we have minus 3A plus B times 2, so 2B. Then to get 2, we must have multiply first row, second column. So A times 0, that is 0. B times minus 1, we have minus B. Then to get 4, we must have multiplied first row and third column. That is A times 2 plus B minus 1. So we have 2A minus B. The same case applies to get 2. We must have multiplied second row, first column. So C times minus 3. So minus 3C plus D times 2. That is 2D. To get minus 1, we must have multiplied second row, second column. So C times 0, 0. D times minus 1, we have minus D. Then to get minus 1, we must have multiplied second row, third column. So C times 2, that is 2C, then plus D times minus 1 minus D. Everything is equal to minus 7, 2, 4, 2 minus 1 minus 1. So we are going to equate the corresponding elements, then we are going to solve for it. So, in this case, we can easily get for B and D. So minus B corresponds to 2, and therefore B is minus 2. Then we have minus D corresponds to minus 1. Therefore, D is equal to 1. We need also to find the other values. Now we are remaining with C and A. Now we have the other one we can consider. I can consider 2A minus B. 2A minus B is equal to corresponds to 4. And already B is minus 2. So I have 2A minus B is minus 2 is equal to 4. Therefore, I have 2A minus 2 is equal to 4. 2A then will be equal to this actually plus. So 2A is equal to 4 minus 2, which is 2. Therefore, A is equal to 1. Also, we need to get the other value. So I can consider 2C minus D is corresponding to minus 1. And D is 2C minus D is 1. So minus 1 is equals to minus 1. So 2C is equal to minus 1 plus 1, 0. Therefore, C is equal to 0. And therefore, to get a matrix M, which is A, B, C, D, that means M is A is 1, B is minus 2, C is 0, and D is 1. So have we answered the question? So let us get back answering the question. So we need to find M inverse. So we need to find the inverse of this matrix, the transformation that will map P prime Q prime R prime onto back to its original position. So we need to get inverse of this, and how to get the inverse of this matrix will be, so to get the inverse will be, first we get the determinant. Let us get determinant of M. So multiply elements in the main diagonal. 1 times 1 is 1, then minus elements in the other diagonal, which is 0 times minus 2, and therefore we get it is 1. Therefore, the inverse of this matrix is 1 over the determinant 1. Then interchange the elements in the main diagonal, so still that will be 1. Then revise the sign in the other diagonal, so we have 0, minus 2 will be positive 2. And therefore, everything will be, now we have 1, 2, 0, 1. So this is the transformation matrix that will map the object back to its position, the original position. So now we can proceed on to our next question. Solve for x in logarithm of 7x minus 3 plus 2 log 5 is equal to 2 plus log of x plus 3. So we are going to consider that these they are log to base 10, and therefore we have log 7x minus 3, then plus 2 log 5, then is equal to 2, then plus 2 log x plus 3. One thing I want us to note that is that this constant part in terms of log to base 10 can be written as 2, can be written as log of 100. Remember, for this log of 100 is the same as log of 10 power 2. If we consider it to be log base 10, therefore this will be 2 log of 10 base 10. And log of a number to base of that number is always 1. So this is 2 times 1, which is 2. And that's what we have here. Then, now we are going to rewrite it as log of 100. So let us rewrite it again, and that will be log of 7x minus 3, then plus, this can be written as log of 5 raised to 2 will be equal to log of 100, then plus log of x plus 3. So from there, we consider the laws of logarithm, whereby you have log of a plus log of b can be written as log of ab. Therefore, the first one can be written as log of we have this is 25 times 7x minus 3. You apply these laws of logarithm will be equal to, the other one will be log of, again applying that laws of logarithm, be equal to 100 we multiply by x plus 3. Then from there, let us work it out. We have log, this is, actually we can drop out the logs. Let us drop out the logs. We can drop out the logs on both sides, and therefore we shall have 25 multiplied by 7x minus 3 will be equal to 100 multiplied by x plus 3. So I can divide both sides by 25, divide by 25. So by 25, 1 by 25, 1 by 25, 1 by 25, 4. Therefore, I'll have 7x minus 3 is equal to 4 to bracket x plus 3. Then we proceed on this point, open, 7x minus 3 will be equal to 4x, then multiply 4 times 3 plus 12. Collect the like terms together, so we shall have 7x minus 4x is equal to 12 plus 3. So this will be 3x is equal to 15, and therefore divide both sides by 3. We get 5. So x is equal to 5. Next, number 16. So question number 16. The length of a shadow of a mast was measured at intervals of 1 hour and recorded as shown in the table below. So here is the table, time in hours from 0 to 5, and length in meters from 18.7 to the minimum 0. So on the grid provided, we need to draw the graph of length against time. So already we have been provided with the grid, and therefore it's just to use the table to plot the graph. Now the first thing we need to consider here is to know the for the time is just exact as from the, that will be in the x-axis, and for the length we have been given this scale. So it is good to note the one small square, what it actually represents for one small square. And therefore from 0 to 5, that means there are 10 divisions, and therefore one division is 5 divided by 10. So one division is 0.5. One division is 0.5 in the x-axis. Therefore, let us plot the points. When x is 0, y is, when time is 0, length is 18.7. 18.7. We have said that for one small division represents 0.5. That means two division represents 1 unit. And therefore from here we have 15, then 16, then 17, then 18, roughly lies near 19. So that's where the point mark will be. Then when time is 1, length is 8.7. 8.7. So at this point here we have 5, then 6, 7, 8, 8. Then we have roughly at this point, here it is, roughly at that particular point. Then when time is 2, length is 5. So this exact 5. When time is 3, length is 2.9. So from here we have 0, 1, 2, 3. It's roughly near 3. So that's the point. When x is 4, that time is 4, y is 1.3. So we have 1, 2. So 1.3 is roughly at that point. Then when time is 5, we have length is 0. And therefore we are going to draw a smooth curve. This looks, it has a trend of a curve, and therefore we are going to join the points using a free hand. So that is it. That is the curve, and therefore the other part we are required to find out is to now answer, determine the rate of change of the shadow length at t is 2. At t is 2. So at this point where t is 2, so since this is a curve, we only get instantaneous rate of change at that particular point, and therefore we are going to draw a tangent passing through that particular point. So let us draw a tangent passing through that particular point. Draw it again. So that is it, passing through that particular point. Therefore, I find the gradient. I need to find the gradient. I just consider two particular points that I can be able to read well. So I can consider this point here this point, and the other point that I can consider this point, and therefore I'm going to make a sketch so I need this point here A and the other point B. So for point A, I can get the coordinates in the x direction, that is 1.5, the y direction from this point, that will be 6. Then for point B, I'll have it is 2.5, and we have this point is 2.5, that will be 3.5, and therefore let me get the gradients at that particular points. So the gradient or the slope will be the change in length over change in time, and therefore let me get the difference. Change in the y-axis is 6 minus 3.5 all over change in the x-axis, we have 1.5 minus 2.5. So if you work it out, we get 6 minus 3.5, we get 2.5, and the other one is 1.5 minus 2.5, we get minus 1, therefore we get minus 2.5. That is the gradient, which is meters per hour. So that is the rate of change. The negative means after every hour it reduces by minus 2.5 meters.